Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD. Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth coming back at you with another broadcast. Today's broadcast, family, we're going to briefly discuss, chop it up about these mass shootings, and you know, everything else that's going on currently. You know, and once again, here at One Brothas Mind family, we try to offer solutions. And at the very least, we try to discuss solutions. What are our options? Remember, family, to please like, share, and subscribe, because we try to give you the facts you need. First off, ladies and gentlemen, I want to offer my condolences to all of the affected family members and friends. Wow. Y'all know, y'all been watching. Buffalo, New York, now Texas, and somewhere in the next few days, next few weeks, is going to be another one. So here at One Brothas Mind, we want to, try to get you guys, to get your mind, wrap your mind around all the things that are happening at the same time. That's why we call this broadcast the Convergence. Everything at the same time. You want to drop a little, your own word in between that, everything at the blank same time, go right ahead. Again, my condolences to all the affected families and friends. Wow, and this, I wasn't going to do a report. I usually don't on these type of issues, but this is just another thing to add to the convergence, mass shootings. This image I put together, every time I turn around, I'm adding more and more pieces to this image of just the all-out insanity that is going on, that we're all facing, dealing with, trying to figure out at the same time. Yeah, it's mind-boggling what's all going on, and everybody's, expressing their different views, different opinions, but from what I can gather, watching most everyone else's and listening to everyone else's views and opinions, nobody's really has any solutions. Nobody's discussing solutions, at least. But here today, we're going to do that. Okay? So, specifically, I have a couple of questions in regards to these mass shootings, especially these school shootings. Family, Have y'all ever noticed that when you, a black person, so-called black person, when you try to go or have to go to visit your child's school, they always have the doors locked, and you got to get some type of permission or authorization to get into the school. But somehow, these mass shooters never seem to run across the same locked doors. Just an observation. Just an observation. But in general, family, I'm going to be brief. I've said it on previous broadcasts. I'm going to say it again today. Family, black people, get our kids out of their schools. Our kids are not safe in their schools. I'm going to say that until the cows come home. Okay? They're not. They're not safe. I've done previous reports. I'm going to post them. And at the end of this broadcast, you'll see those. You'll be able to click on some of those and check those out. But our kids are not safe in their schools, family. Why are we leaving our kids in these unsafe schools? Get our kids out of their schools. That's the primary solution to the racism and mass shootings and all the dangers that are at these schools, y'all. Okay? You say, well, what are you supposed to do? The kids got to go to school, right? Yeah. Well, there's a few options. If you have, let's just cut to the chase. If you can't find no better school option, no safer school options, and I'm going to list a couple of them, you always can homeschool, family. You can homeschool your own children. There is software, there's programs, there's online programs. You can homeschool your own children. Or let me put it this way. I can guarantee you one thing. There is not one parent that had to be concerned or worried about their child in Texas, in this area, at this school, or in that neighborhood who was homeschooling their children. They didn't have to worry about it. And I know some of you are saying, well, yeah, but the kids are going to miss the social interaction. I get it. But would you rather your kids be able to interact socially or have to live with this type of risk? And this ain't the only one. There's a laundry list for our kids of problems in their schools. This is just one of the problems. Get our kids out of their schools. And they say, well, that's a major sacrifice, Okay, I get it. How does the average parent or parents do this? Well, hopefully you're blessed enough to have a 2-parent home. You're married, 2-parent home. Work different shifts. Somebody be responsible for the homeschool or tag team it. If you're a single parent, the sacrifices may cut deeper. Depending on the age of your children, you could work maybe a second shift or a later shift. Homeschool your children during the day. Go to work if they're old enough to take care of themselves at home. You can work in the evenings. That's one option. If your children are too young for that, then the sacrifices get tougher. You need to seriously look into, you know, is there something that I can do to earn an income on my own without having to work away from home, where I can homeschool my children? Can I switch to a job where I work from home, or start my own business, or some type where I can work at my leisure as opposed to having to be at somebody else's job helping them get richer? Yeah, I may not make as much money, but at least I'm doing it so that my family and my children are safe. I mean, it really boils down to what are our priorities? What do we value? You know, these things, these mass shootings, these school shootings, they can happen anywhere and do. Anywhere. They're unpredictable, but they're happening. All this craziness is happening at such a accelerated rate now, and it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. Hence the convergence. Okay? But you may not have to homeschool. For some people in your area, you may have some black ran charter schools or black controlled charter schools that are, at least you know they ain't got to deal with the racism part. Those charter schools may be great. They may not be so great for other reasons, but at least you know you ain't got to deal with the racism part. And maybe, hopefully, there's no the school has a pretty good security setup where there's no firearms being brought or weapons like that being brought into the school. Okay? A lot of us have those options. Now, the problem is we don't want to make the sacrifice to provide the transportation for our students to get to those schools. We're just so comfortable with the easy route of the public school system, their school system, buses coming to pick up our kids every day. You know, that luxury. You know, but is that worth it? You're going to let a luxury, you know, keep your kids in a crazy, risky situation? Or are you going to take action? Are you going to make an adjustment? I mean, there's so many things, as you see on your screen, there's so many things that are going on, family, that we have to prepare for at some point. Isn't it wise to start to try to eliminate the risk of some of these issues to you and your family? To make some adjustments, make some changes? And with that said, a lot of us, family, we have church schools, black church schools, mega church schools in our areas. Again, most of us won't enroll our children in them because we don't want to have to be responsible for providing the transportation, but the school is there. Isn't that little sacrifice or schedule adjustment worth feeling more secure with your child at their school? Or again, back to the homeschool option, if that's not it. You know, there's online schools now. They're slowly popping up. And for a lot of black teachers out there, get please, y'all, we need this so bad. Grab a hold of some of these homeschool softwares or develop your own and broadcast them, post them on social media. Start offering online school options, especially for black kids. You know, I think it's safe to say that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of black kids across the country and parents, especially, that are dying looking for other options. Okay? Again, here at One Brothas Mind, we try to offer or at least discuss solutions. There are almost always these other options, almost always, especially for our children. They are not safe in their schools, y'all. Get our kids out of their schools. Like, for example, my previous church home, okay, here in the Naptown, they built a whole new building and campus and all that, and a part of that, one wing of it, literally, they opened up a whole school in one wing of that campus, right? Right smack dab in the middle of the hood, right? They couldn't keep the school open. Why? Low enrollment. We, the black community in the hood, enough of us would not enroll our children into their school. It ain't just that church school. That was a black charter school that my daughter actually attended for several years. Because I saw it. I took advantage of that opportunity while my child was young. But it's still running. It's running under a different name right now, but they struggle with enrollment, as well as they struggle finding teachers, qualified teachers. Man, but we can do these things ourselves, and our children will be safer. Okay? If you do some digging in your city, in your area, really do some research, you most likely will find some other options. I mean, there may be some additional sacrifices that have to be made, that you have to make. You may have to relocate to the other side of town to make it work, or different things like that, but isn't the safety of our children worth it? I don't know. I'm just asking questions, y'all. I know for myself, I have two. I have one in college, which she's much older, and I talk to her and try to train her more and more every day to be positioned to defend herself and be situated, to recognize what's going on in her surroundings. Okay. And I have my autistic son. I'm done with the public school systems. Them people crazy. They insane. They have no idea what they're doing. I'm done. I'm homeschooling unless I find some other specialty school option that's just leaps over bounds better than my homeschooling. I'm done. We're done. No. Not happening. Not in their schools. No. Not only is most of our children not only is our children not safe in their schools, but most of them aren't even getting a quality education. So why be there? Okay. I mean, again, look at your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all the different things that are happening or about to be happening that or have just happened that we are actually facing and dealing with. And there's more than what's on your screen. There's more. What's your solution? You gotta try to eliminate some of the risk of these things, the ones you can. And school is where your kids go to school. That's something that is under your control. That's one of the few things that's under your control. I'm not trying to have it, get that phone. No, I'm not trying to get that phone call, y'all. It won't go good at all. My heart just goes out to the parents. These are babies, y'all. Last report I saw, dude shot like 30 people. 30, most of them kids, babies. So, again, I do this video, and the ones like it, I'm trying to motivate us. We have to start taking actions. We got to start being proactive when it comes to our lives and the lives of our children, our family safety. We have to start, and there's going to be sacrifices. That's just how it works. You cannot have your cake and eat it too, and still be fully safe. Not us, not so-called black people here in the U.S. No, that's been over. It's never existed. Okay. So the question is, what are you going to do? What adjustments are you going to make? What sacrifices are you willing to make to try to improve and enhance the safety of you and your family? That's what it boils down to. Okay? And just in general, beyond the school or mass shooting issues, just like I said, with all the things that are on your screen, family, there's only a couple of options. There's only about 4 options. And I want to chop it up with y'all. I want y'all to let me know in the comments what options are you leaning toward, or what options are you doing? There's some people that say, well, I'm just getting my power tools together and everything is personal defense. Okay. I ain't mad at you on that. You're going to go down, and if they're going to get you, it's going to be you going out the hard way. Right? I am not mad at that at all. But you pretty much by yourself. Right? It's not hard for them to get you when you're by yourself. Okay. Another option is a lot of people that they are trying to move outside of the major city areas and get secluded and get their own off-grid homestead happening, and doing all that goes with that, and saying, well, I'll carve out this little space here. And me and my family are going to defend this space. It's easier and better to defend this off-grid homestead just outside of the city populated areas than it is to be right in the middle of the city, trying to defend ourselves. Okay. But again, it's just you. Maybe you and your spouse. How many people, coming to get you? How many of them coming to get you is it going to take to overwhelm just you or just you and your spouse. Okay? Which is why a lot of people, people ain't talking about it much online, but a lot of people, a lot of so-called black people are putting plans together, making moves. They're getting serious. People are serious, y'all. They're figuring out, okay, we gotta group up. Whether we group up and still living in the city area, or whether we group up and we go purchase some land and set up our own off-grid homestead area, property. But it's a group of us, because a nice group of you, if it's X number of families or what have you, you have the ability to mount a more substantial defense, right? There's a lot of people doing that. Some church groups, some this groups and that groups. It's happening. So if you have the ability, if you've heard about it, do your research on some of them. They're out there. I know of one not too far from where I'm at here in Indianapolis, in Indiana. It's in Kokomo, Indiana. I'm not going to mention their group's name, but it's a church group, and they got a following on YouTube, a channel and everything. I've been watching them from afar in the background for quite some time, just considering the option. Okay. So what's your solution? Then it's real big. A lot of people online that, after these two mass shootings, and a lot of black people talking about, it's time to go. It's time to leave, go back to Africa, go back to the motherland. Okay. I hear you on that. I feel you on that. All right. There's a lot of positives to doing that. A lot. But just like with everything, there's some negatives that come with that as well. Okay? There's some things that you got to learn and get used to that are done differently over in Africa than they're done here. And you got to be able to make those adjustments and come to terms with those things. Right? Don't let nobody get you all wound up about trying to move over to Africa and you go through all the trouble thinking you're going to just jump over there and everything's going to be good and everything's great. It's best to do some visiting first. That's what we recommend here at One Brothas Mind. Visit the part of Africa that you want to consider or that you are considering. Visit it a couple of times. Spend some time over there. Learn the ins and outs, the goods and the bads before you make that jump. There's a lot of black groups that are doing tours and different things like that to try to do just that. Give people the opportunity to check it out. Ask questions and, get your research on. But a lot of black people is really pushing this time to go. Okay, I do have a couple of questions for those that are hot pushing that discussion right now. Especially there's a lot of so-called, I can't say they are or that they're not. A lot of black Hebrews that are pushing this issue. Okay. I myself am a Hebrew Israelite. I practice that belief system now. But I still got a couple of questions about that Africa thing, right? And the first question is it, you want to move over to Africa and all that, great, fine, but is it the European or beast system that you're trying to escape by moving over to Africa? Isn't the beast system global? Is it not global? I mean, yeah, there's some African countries that have declared recently and, in recent history their sovereignty and this and that. But even with those countries, isn't the European beast system global? Doesn't scripture say in various places, who can war against the beast? It's global, right? So even if you're in, say you move into a sovereign African country, okay. But do they have a navy that can fend off the European beast system navy? No. So even if they're sovereign, doesn't the beast system still control all imports and exports, or can snap a finger and control them? Even if you're in a country in Africa that is sovereign, they can choke your imports off just with the snap of a finger. Right? Okay. And so then the follow-up question to that I have is, with the beast system global, one, we all understand America is going to fall. It's falling. Right? Literally before our eyes, it's falling. For those that are watching. For those that don't know, you better get your late pass and get it quick. But it's falling as we speak. Right? It's crumbling. But because the beast system is global, there's as it falls, it's gonna reach a point of like critical mass of just critical mass craziness during this fall, right? And its effects are not just going to be here in America. The effects of the beast system falling is going to be felt globally. Trust me, they're not going to go down without screaming, kicking, and biting everybody else. Globally. They're just not. So, if that's the case, then it doesn't really matter where you at from that perspective in the world. There are going to be effects as this beast system falls. Okay? And speaking specifically about Africa, relocating to Africa, we already know how they get down in Africa when resources get low, get short. They do the same thing that everybody else does. It's just that their resources in a lot of places in Africa have been low and short more often and more recently. So what do? They go at each other's neck. So is that the place you really want to be when there's the shortages and resources get low over there? I mean, again, same thing will happen in America or wherever, Australia, the Antarctica, whatever. When the resources get low, human beings are going to go at each other and attack each other trying to survive. Fighting over those resources. It's not a black thing. It's a human thing. Okay? But my point is, again, the beast system is global. And as it falls, so too does most of the other countries and places around the world. Money systems, when the U.S. money system falls, that's going to ripple throughout the world. You know? So I'm not saying Africa is not the move. I'm saying when it really is all going down, when it reaches that critical mass point of falling, the problems and issues are going to be global. They're going to be everywhere. Okay? So, it's not like, oh, let's relocate to Africa and we'll be safe over there. We won't have to worry about it. That's not how that's going to go. That is not how that's going to go, family. Don't let nobody gas you up. That's not how that's going to go. Okay? The only thing you really can do is whatever decision you make, wherever you decide to go and take a stand, whether it's in the U.S. or wherever, you hope that you're in a small little pocket area that you're able to stand and defend and maintain yourself in. That's about all you can really hope for, wherever you are. Now, yes, if you go over to Africa, now and set up shop real good, yeah, you've pretty much eliminated the primary issue of racism for now. You've eliminated that issue. You ain't got to deal with that. There's black people everywhere over there. They running everything over there. Okay. That's a bonus, but again, how long is that going to last without conflict? As the beast system falls, as Babylon falls, how long is the goodness, the good part that you go over there for? Is it 5 years from now? Is it 10, 15, 30? I mean, how long? Because again, when Babylon falls, it's going to come to a point where it's going to have global effects. It's already having some global effects, but it's so much worse to come. So what's going to happen? Like I said, when the resources get short, when the imports get cut off, hopefully when you move on, because a lot of people thinking I can just move over to Africa and just set up shop and live my life pretty much as I do here in America. I don't know about all that. For me, I think you have a better chance if you're going to move over to Africa and do the same thing that many people are doing here in America. Buy you some land way out, get out from around everybody. Don't be around nobody, get you some land and build you up your own off-grid, self-functioning homestead. That type of situation is seemingly a safer long-term option. Just moving over there and moving into a new housing community or the cities where they, like you over here, you're just as vulnerable as you are over here. Okay? And two last things, don't sleep on. Family, so-called African Americans, you go over to Africa, remember, when push came to shove, didn't they sell us out before? Sell us to the slave masters? I'm just saying. So don't sleep on that. And then I got one more question for the people that are really pushing. It's time to go. Let's go to Africa, move back to Africa now. I got one more question. Can any of y'all tell me exactly where does the battle for Armageddon, where does scripture say that is going to occur? I'll wait. Isn't there scriptures talking about the kings from the east coming across the dried up Euphrates River? In the scriptures, doesn't that say that? For the battle of Armageddon? And the Euphrates River is where? Where's the Euphrates River located? Don't scratch your head. I'll tell you. Africa. Right there. So, let me get this right. Most of the people that pushing the whole idea of returning to Africa, to escape as an option. I mean, you got people swear up and down. They pushing this idea and this option straight out of scripture, right? But is it? That's exactly where. I'm sorry, y'all. That's exactly where the battle of Armageddon is supposed to go down. That's in scripture. They ain't telling you that. They're not mentioning it. So I'm just asking questions. Don't shoot me. I'm just asking questions. So how and why does it really make sense to actually go set up your family on the continent, the actual continent where scripture says the battle of Armageddon, the war of all wars, the last war, the God's war, it's going to be crazy. Does it really make all the sense in the world to set up shop on that landmass? I mean, it's going to be wars globally. Don't get it twisted. But scripture specifically identifies the battle of Armageddon and the kings from the east, like Gog and Magog. Read it. Then look it up. They're gonna send armies right across the dried up Euphrates as a part of that battle of Armageddon. That's in Africa. Okay, so my point is, family, there's a whole lot to think about. That's number one. Before you do any drastic, quick moves. Two, really, there's nowhere safe. Why? Because the beef system is global. There's nowhere safe until after Yeshua returns. And puts his hands around the necks of this beast system. Then is when there's going to start being some safety. But until then, you might find some little pockets somewhere on the earth here or there that you can set up shop. You might just happen to end up in the right little pocket location, and I hope so, because I'm looking for that pocket too. Maybe it's Gilligan's Island. I don't know. I'm gonna find it, just like y'all. But the reality is, you can't really know where that those pockets, if they exist, if they're gonna exist, where they're gonna be. You can't really know. But I know, that's probably the biggest deterrent for myself from moving over back to Africa, is that's exactly where the Battle of Armageddon is prophesied in scripture to go down. Now, yeah, it's going to be fighting and wars happening everywhere else too, but really? I'm not. And even worse, I'm aware of this information, and I have a pretty reasonable grasp on this information. If I were to move my family over there and something pop off, I can kind of know and try to pick out where to set up shop and where not to set up shop and what to look out for myself. But what if it don't go bad, or the Battle of Armageddon don't start till after I'm gone, after I've left this earth, and now my children are stuck trying to figure this out, on their own. They don't have me. That's another thing that y'all gotta think about, family. It's getting bad, but it may not get that bad until after you're gone. And if you move your family somewhere else in the world, then that means your children gotta be on point. I'm doing all I can to educate my children, prepare them, teach them, show them. But y'all know how kids are. At what point, what age did you start taking scripture seriously? Were you a teenager? Was you in your 20s? Was you in your 30s? Or was it not until you hit your 40s and you started seeing life get real all around you real fast? So most teenagers, most people in their 20s, they don't really take scripture as serious as we should. We're more focused on the head. I'm just gonna live my life. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but all right, okay then. But that's the family that you want to relocate, say to Africa, and potentially leave them behind to fend for themselves in that situation with that mindset. I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm doing, family. I'm just asking questions. So again, I want to keep this as short as possible, but just some things that you really got to think things through. To me, of all the options that are available to us, family, the best option is to group up in some kind of capacity or what have you for us. Group up into an off-the-grid homestead option, group option. Find research. There's some people doing it. Find research. Find out what you got to do and what's required to join up with those type of groups and participate and contribute. There's going to be some changes in your life, some sacrifices, but to have some sense of peace, security, and safety, that very well may be the best option. I don't know, but y'all let me know. Let's chop it up in the comments, family. Y'all let me know. Because all of us are trying to figure this out. I'm just saying, one, get our kids out of their schools. That's number one. That's easy. As a community, that's easy for us to do. Because there's those of us that have the resources, that can start our own schools, mega churches, because every mega church, in the black mega church, especially the ones in the hood, we should have our own schools there. And when they open the school up, parents, take your children out of these public schools and move them into your church schools. That's the only way these schools can stay open and function. Y'all can't complain about this stuff, but then not do anything about it. Again, my church, previous church homeschool, they got a whole school facility wing. It's just sitting there, not being used. Right now, today, as I'm talking, if I had the resources, I would want to open and run a school out of it. Could do it, but the original problem is going to come right back and cause the problem. Most of the black families and right here in the black community where the school will be are not going to move our children, take our into the new school. Primarily because, we ain't got no transportation. Come on, man. We got to do something. Even scripture says faith without works is dead. You got to do something. You got to do your part. You can't ask for more safety, but yet don't want to participate in creating and maintaining a safer environment or a safer option. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Again, family, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure also you turn on all notifications so you get the notification when we go live or when we upload another video, family. Let's chop it up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. If y'all got the solution or better option, put it in the comments. Help us out. Let us know. You know, we all looking for it right now and been looking for it for a while. And this concludes this broadcast from One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new Black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.